Okay. Alright, I'm going to start the 5 gravel road ride. On the first road, which is Callaway Fork, which has some water crossings in it that are, one especially is very sketchy. I've gone down in it before. The others aren't too bad. So we'll just see what happens here. We've had some, nope, there's deer already. Hope baby doesn't come out. So hopefully water level's not too high and the crossing's not too slimy. Now, they did do some work on this road, so maybe they fixed the crossings. Who knows? This is really a test, just testing out the video as well as my audio. Got the DJI Action 5 and the Mic Mini. Mic Mini's up here where I can talk. It's nice and cool back here. It's a very hot day out when you're out on the big roads with the sun beating on you. But back here in the tree cover near a creek, it's very nice. There's no water in this creek. This is not the one I'm worried about. A little bit of rain on my face. Getting some sprinkles. That's fine. As long as it's just sprinkles. I did not bring rain gear. So, yeah, don't have rain gear. If I get wet, I'm getting wet. Okay, close the lid. Keep the rain off my goggles. 80. So far, so good. This is very hard pack. Hasn't been had a layer of gravel in a while. Just getting used to it. This is my brand new Kawasaki KLX300. And I only have about 100 miles on it. Trying to get it ready for Colorado. In September. So I got to get it over 600 miles so I can change the oil and have it all broke in. Bike feels plenty torquey, you know. On gravel, you know, you only need as much power to brake the rear wheel, and this one has plenty of power to do that. So in gravel, you don't need a lot of power. I had a WR250R street bike, dual sport, before this. Well, actually, I've had a couple bikes in between that and this, but that was my last dual sport. I traded it in on a Yamaha Tenere 700, and I rode that for quite a bit. But that bike was really big, and it was very top heavy, and it was not all that great on the highway. So I split up the duty. I bought a 850 GS because it is excellent on the highway. It's got cruise, and comfy seat, all the accessories, and it's really stable going down, you know, gravel roads like this. But it's low factory suspension and a low seat, which means I can flat foot it, which is way better than the Tenere. But it also means that it's more road focused and it's not going to do anything but these mild gravel roads. But it's the bike I went to ride places to ride. So, like I rode it out to the MABDR, which is one of the easier BDRs. And here's one crossing, it's completely dry. But we towed it out to Colorado. I towed the Tenere out to Colorado. And, did the Colorado BDR on the Tenere, and I dropped it several times because it's so top heavy. And it was a struggle because it was so tall. Couldn't get my feet down going on some of those tight switchbacks. So I traded it in, or sold it, and then bought the BMW 850 GS, which has been an excellent bike and is great for long distance touring. It's great on the MABDR. So I'm very excited about that. But this is what I want to do, more gnarly stuff. So I will going to take it to Colorado for the Alpine Loop and all those. So we'll do real dual sporting on this bike. And this is a bike that I will throw in the back of the pickup truck and take places. Let's just make sure that we did good on the lens. There we go. So far, so good. I hope they fixed the one that was so bad. It's near the end of this road. Yeah, I dumped the Tenere in it, and I could not pick it up. It took 3 of us to get it up because the concrete was so slippery the bike would not stand up. You had to take it into the gravel off the main track to get it to pick up. And it took 3 of us. This bike, I don't think will be that problem. Oh, look, a heron down there. Hi, guy. I like birds. Bit of a bird nerd. All right. Further back in here, all good so far. And here it is. Okay, so there is water in this, and it is slimy. Okay, so we don't want to go in the middle, because that's where it'll be the slimiest. It's not pushing fast, so we're just going to go in nice and easy. No sudden moves. And we're through. Good deal. So they haven't made any changes to that, but as long as you go in slow. I went in a little fast on the Tenere, and the water was moving much faster, and it knocked me over. High speed of the water. This is the one that's been repaired. There was a big hole right there, and you come up and grab a big handful of water, a big fistful of water going through that. So they have repaired that. That's nice. Nice. Okay. So the slimy one is still there, but it is very doable if you just take your time and don't touch anything as you cruise through. no gas, no brake. And keep your feet out as outriggers. Make it through just fine. So that was the one that was why the road was closed before, and now it's open. Low speed on the straight part. 45. Big deal. Very stable. This bike is very stable. I'm not even going to stand up yet because this is all just smooth, hard packed gravel. None of this would be hard on my GS. For GS's. And here we are at the end. Alright, so I'll pick it up at the next road. This is gravel road number 1, done and dusted, easy peasy. Okay, here's the start of the second road in the 5 gravel road. This is Femme Osage Ridge. It's just a short little pavement ride from Callaway Fork to over here. This is another pretty well groomed, smooth, hard pack. Nothing technical about this. This, of course, would be very easily done on my GS. I've done it on my GS. No problem. The Kawasaki is fairly stock except for comfort and control items. So as you can see, I've got Tusk Chub handlebars and ODI grips and double take mirrors. There's a skid plate on there, Travis hand guards. There's a tail tidy in the back and a rack upon which I have Nelson Rig Hurricane tail pack and side bags, saddle bags. The reason I have those is I need to carry repair tools and tubes. So I have 2 tubes with me and all of the gear to change them if need be. This road is just a real pretty little road. Easy to traverse. The front is a little twitchy on this bike. I'll just let it twitch a little bit, it's fine. It has a fairly sharp brake and trail. So it's and a short wheelbase, so it is going to be much twitchier than say my GS, which has a very long wheelbase and a lot of rake and trail. So it's just a matter of getting used to the bike moving around. I may need to add a little rear preload. I haven't adjusted the suspension at all, which means it's set up probably at its lowest point. And since I am a bit over 200 pounds, it probably needs some more preload. but it's doing fine. When I ride on gravel, I do not cover the front brake. I cover the rear brake. The rear brake on this is very strong. So, cover the rear brake, and then if I need to, can be stopped pretty easily with just the rear, and then add a little front with one finger to keep the front from locking up, because this does not have ABS. No traction control, no ABS, just you and a motorcycle, which is fine. Don't have to remember to turn anything off, which I like. I got the black and camo, which is what was available, but it's also the one I wanted. I think it looks really sharp. Beautiful road. And that's what you'll find here in Missouri a lot of, is tree arbors over gravel roads. So gravel roads are a good way to stay a little bit cooler in the summertime. You get some shade. It's supposed to get up to 91 or 2 today. Get back before. Probably about when it starts to get really hot. Doesn't have a quick shifter either, like the BMW, so I gotta remind myself I gotta use the clutch. Otherwise, the bike won't be happy. And you can see I am avoiding the deep gravel as much as I can, and sticking in the tracks that are cleared off. Coming up to the end of number 2. And move over a little bit, slow down. Plenty of room, thank you, sir. And here's the end of gravel road number 2. Make a right here. And we'll head over. It's going to be a little bit more of a hike to get to the third gravel road. My third gravel road is different than, I don't want to go all the way out to Massa's Creek. Okay, here is the third gravel road in our, it's going to be a 4 gravel road ride, because the road that I thought used to be gravel, Paul Road, is no longer gravel. It's been paved. And you know, I guess I did it like 6 years ago, 5 or 6 years ago, and I guess it's been paved pretty well since then. So, I don't have that third road that I wanted, so I've got this one. This is Charette Creek, and this first part is pretty wide and well groomed. It will get tighter and more technical, and there is a nasty little creek crossing. There's a lot of creek crossings on this road because it follows Cherry Creek, but there's a big one, and it's near the end of the road. Now you can, and I might, skip it and just do Highway CC off of this road to get over 47 instead of going over the crossing. Because it is the slimiest one around. Even slimier than Callaway Fork. So this will descend down to the creek. Now it's just a nice big wide open gravel road. Plenty of hard pack. Open up the visor a bit. Some fresh air in here. It is hot. I'm going from north to south so that I can, if I want to avoid the nasty creek crossing. There are still creek crossings, but they are smaller and more gravelly. I'm going to wait for the dust to go down a bit. We've had a lot of rain, but it is dry as a bone back here, as far as the road goes and the dust goes. Don't know what gear I'm in because this bike does not have a gear position indicator. Alright, here's our first water crossing, and it is dry as a bone. Excellent. And our second one, this one does have water around it, and it looks like it might be a little slimy. So we are just going to pick the least slimy looking. Doesn't look too bad. Cruise over and up. Excellent. Okay. This one is dry. Another creek crossing and another dry one. This one is very dry. There's no water anywhere. It's getting a little gnarlier, a little bumpier, but still nothing that would be too difficult for the GS. Somebody else out here today. Thanks. I'm gonna stand up because it's getting bumpy. Bike is very easy to stand up on, especially now that I've got the another crossing, mostly dry. Very short crossing. Easy peasy, thick gravel, no problem standing. A little bumpier, got some little potholes. Still nothing couldn't do on the GS. Okay, I'll shift into third. Nothing standing up. There we go. I also have not put on a tank bag specifically because I want to be able to stand up easily and move back and forth. All right. Another creek crossing and another dry crossing. Awesome. Well, the creek crossings have not been too bad, so maybe I'll do the whole thing. There will be water on the last one. There's always water on the last one. Whoa! A digger. Alright, oh, here comes the big truck. That is why you ride right. One of them things come around the corner. You gotta be close to the edge to get out of its way. Getting close. Getting nicer, getting closer to the end. So, First impressions of the Kawasaki KLX300 are it's an excellent dual sport. I'm beginning to like it a lot. Getting out and exploring today. Getting used to the bike. Alright, so if we go, this is CC. Huh. Maybe I did it already. I don't know. But I want to go this way. On CC. Get me back up to 47. Catch you at the next gravel road. Okay, so here's our fourth gravel road, Lost Creek, and you'll notice that it's not gravel at the moment, but it will be just a mile or so in. This road is a little more technical than everything else. It's got a lot of creek crossings, of course. Since it's named Lost Creek, you would expect that. There's a lot more holes and potholes. Most of the creek crossings, though, I think fall into the category of gravel underneath, not slick concrete. So that is a bonus. There is one long section that actually goes through the creek bed, and that gravel is very deep, thick. So you have to be careful through that part. Alright, now we start the curvy part. This road, which is very nice. I don't think this guy's going to go all the way through Lost Creek. See you later, and here begins gravel road. And our first creek crossing is dry. Clean. Okay. Starts off pretty open, pretty good shape. This is better than it used to be, so Seems like they widened this part. Smoothed it out. Some more gravel on it. Creek crossing number 2 is dry. Whoop. Yeah. Oh, this one's completely dry. Cool cabin down here. There's more water in the creek down there. Big creek crossing. And we'll just go right here. No problem. Getting a little rougher now. This road has been much improved. It used to be a lot more rutted. Here comes another creek crossing. Where shall we cross? Doesn't really matter. Let's go to the right. No problem. This road's not as gnarly as it used to be, at least this part. They have smoothed it and put down some more gravel. This white gravel didn't used to be here. It's all the old amber colored, like the rock creek here. Now they put down some white gravel. Filled stuff in. Maybe they fixed the whole road. Though this looks like it might get a little more gnarly up here. And I don't see any of the white gravel. Yeah. A little bumpier. Not too bad. Alright, here comes the big creek crossing. This is deep gravel. And the correct path is over here, through this deep stuff. Wow, that's all filled in. This used to have a big hole here. Filled it all in. Goodness gracious. Should have stood up on that. Deep gravel. Deep, big gravel. Go bunting flew in front of us. There's the creek down below. You'll see it again in a little bit. We do a big, big, big crossing. Bridge, it's not the cross, it's the big crossing I was telling you about. Whee! Oop-ah! What the fuck was that? Something fell off. Went right down the back of my leg. I don't have anything loose. Camera's still here. Okay. Maybe it's just a rock kicked up. Pocket and my wallet in the other. Not good. Alright, we're good. Thought it might be my microphone. It seems to be still there. here is the big creek crossing. As you can see, it just goes into okay. So, it's not a hard crossing. It's just some deep gravel, but this part's been whacked down pretty good. So, my 4x4s through here. Okay. Well, when this water's high, it's a lot more complicated. Okay. Deep gravel wants to take you where it wants to go. Okay. Let's get back over where I want to go. Yeah. Tractor on through there, baby. Yeah, I want to be over here. Dang, that's some deep stuff. Okay. Get up out of the hole. Woo. That stuff is soft, but that's the worst one. We're okay. All right. Another creek crossing. Nothing in it. Whoa, deer. Jumping through the brush. Hey, Mama. Now there's a little mud here, but it's hard packed. It could still be slimy if you were paying attention. It's low ground. Away from the mud. I think there's one more crossing left before we finish the road. That is a road that goes up to State Highway EE and Little Lost Creek Conservation Area. Pretty good hill climb on it, but it's not going in the direction I want to go. Boom, 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 boom. Coming down to the final creek crossing. This one does have a little slimy to it. That's okay, we'll go through the skinny part. No problem. Now we're getting back to the farmlands, out of the woods, and the road gets wider and smoother. No more creek crossings. I don't think. No, I guess that's a creek crossing, technically. No water in it, though. More like a ditch crossing. She stood up. And that is pretty much the end of Lost Creek Road. That's gravel road number 4. I am not going to do gravel road number 5 because Masters Creek dumps me out near Jonesburg, which is too far away. And tonight is date night. And I don't want to be late for date night. I got a hottie and cold beverage waiting for me, so I'm gonna head back. It's slow, but feels like you're going fast, even though you're not. Feels like I'm doing 70 on my BMW. I'm only doing 55. Vibration, no wind protection. So, yep. Well, that's 4 out of 5 gravel roads. And I'll catch you later. Alright, a little bonus paved road. I had to stop and get gas because it's flashing low fuel warning at 80 miles. So I filled it up at 93.7 and it took 1.4 gallons, which comes out to 66 miles per gallon, which is pretty good. Pretty pleased with this bike. I would like a bigger gas tank. I think that will be my next change. I get a IMS 3.8. And I'll get it in semi-clear, translucent, so I can see how much gas I have at any point. That's alright in the corners. Alright.